Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to Inside Agriculture with me, Emmanuel Mwemba. As usual, in the studio, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Claribel Msonda, my co-presenter. Claribel, welcome to Inside Agriculture.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Great. Today we talk promotion of traditional crops for household and food security.
Wow.
Great, great. Dear viewers, also in the studio, we are joined by our guest, Miss Asumini Sampa, the Senior Agricultural Research Officer from Zambia Agricultural Research Institute, ZARI, the research department in the Ministry of Agriculture. Miss Sampa, welcome to Inside Agriculture.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwemba and Claribel, for having me here.
Wonderful. Great, great. Even as we continue promoting the growing of traditional crops for household and food security, why is growing and cultivation of traditional crops important?
Okay. First of all, we need to understand that these traditional crops, there is a wide diversity of them. We have various crop species, and within the crop species, we have diversity in form of different varieties. These crops are also highly nutritious, they're nutritious dense, and they also provide dietary diversification within the home. So we have crops like cowpea, we have crops like groundnuts, we have crops like common beans, which aside from consuming the seed or the grain, we can also equally consume the leaves that are rich in various vitamins. And we also have sweet potato, which is highly nutritious in vitamin A, C, and zinc, which can be consumed at household level. And when you're consuming all these different types of crops, you're also enhancing diversification within the home. You're improving your diets because these traditional seeds are also attached to the fact that they're highly rich in ions, like the African leaf vegetables. They're highly rich in calcium. We have African leaf vegetables like amaranthus, which is wondwe, which is highly rich in various proteins. We have cleum, which is sunta. We have kokoras, which is tandajulu. So we have all this diversity that contributes to ensuring that the household is food as well as nutritious secure. Aside from that, these crops are also highly resilient. And then because they're able to adapt in various climates, and also they act as an adaptation towards climate variability, and as well as climate shock, different climate shocks. You can harvest something out of them once they are grown within the farmer's field. Aside from that, these crops are also affordable, and they can easily be accessed by the farmer. And also because of the demand, right now we have a high demand of these traditional crops, both in markets, restaurants. I think nowadays, whichever restaurant you go to, whether in the urban or the rural area, you have,
foods, yeah.
yes, you find Matabeto, yes.
You find you have to put all the different types of traditional foods to support that
exactly. So due to this high demand in terms of market, there has also there is a creation of opportunities for women-led enterprises and also in the local processing industry. And also because of this high demand, the local farmers are able to generate some form of income when they sell these traditional crops.
Great,
Wow.
great. We have traditional seeds on the table. Which some of the traditional crops here have potential to strengthen nutrition, and why?
Okay.
Yes.
So
as well
I think
as, food security.
As well as food security, yes.
definitely let's not forget about food
Yes,
security.
nutrition and
Food security,
security,
exactly.
Yeah.
So on the table here, we have a diversity of these traditional crops. Here we can see we have sorghum, we have bambara nuts, we have pigeon pea, we
Which
have...
one does sorghum and bambara nuts?
Okay.
For the sake of the viewers to see.
Okay, so this is bambara nut, which is also known as intoyo
Oh, great.
in Bemba.
Okay.
Yes, so this is sorghum. So all these crops have got potential to be utilized
Yes.
as an alternative or a diversification In 2024, we had the Year of the Millets, where we're promoting the utilization of sorghum and pearl millet, as well as finger millet. Okay. The reason was because these crops are highly nutritious in form of, they have high energy, they have iron and other important vitamins. For sorghum, aside from the fact that this is an underutilized crop, or an opportunity crop as we term them, okay, they have benefits of the fact that it is highly nutritious. It can be used in various industries. The silage of this is used in feeding animals. Yeah, and it's also a resilient crop. So these are some of the benefits of this sorghum. And I think when you go to rural areas, you see in the local brewing, sorghum is usually used to brew local drinks. Like some actually brew this sorghum for alcohol purposes. Yes, yes. So we also have groundnuts. Okay. Yes, groundnuts are equally highly nutritious. This is also termed as a climate resilient or tolerant crop, and also it has got various uses. There is value addition attached to this. There is local chimpondwa or peanut butter that is used, that is made from this groundnuts. And then we also have here, this is an African leaf vegetable, amaranthus, commonly known as bondwe. Most people know this as bondwe.
And the white one, or it's that red one?
This one is the red one. Okay. Yes. So this bondwe literally grows anywhere, but it has got different varieties of it. It's a traditional crop that we have conserved at the National Gene Bank. And this, there's promotion of utilization of this bondwe because of the fact that it's highly nutritious and it's easy to maintain. When you grow it, it needs less inputs. And then aside from these crops, we also have the vegetatively propagated crops like sweet potato and cassava, which are not here at the table. But if you come through to the National Gene Bank, you'll be able to see these in our field where we conserve them. These are crops that are consumed tuber, and also the leaves are consumed, and they're highly nutritious. And with the sweet potato, they are highly nutritious, of course, in vitamin A, vitamin C, and also zinc. And most of the times we have farmers that are coming through requesting for a particular sweet potato variety which is rich in a particular nutrient. And because we have these results from the analysis, we've done nutrition analysis on the sweet potato, we're able to give the farmer exactly what they request for.
Great, Emmanuel. You see the nutrition aspect in the food, whereby when we eat, we become healthy. And when we become healthy, we'll be productive in our workplaces. And when we become productive, there is security of our jobs, meaning we cannot be fired because we are healthy because of the traditional foods. We are eating balanced meals. That means it's very wide. When you talk about food security, we can't go hunger. And as a human resource, we'll be very healthy and support our organizations.
As part of adding value to these materials that we conserve at the National Gene Bank, we also promote cooking shows and value addition shows. In these shows, we just showcase the different ways in which these traditional crops can be utilized. So, for example, in sorghum recently, we're undertaking an initiative in Chirundo district where we were showcasing how we can process this sorghum for the farmer.
So we need to be taught traditionally how to prepare our nshima using our traditional foods. It's very important.
And for farmers to prepare these traditional foods, there is need for them to grow them actually, to continue growing them year in, year out. Without them growing them, meaning there will be no traditional crops to showcase our cultural heritage.
We'll be malnourished.
Yes.
So, Snemo, how can the schools, communities, and local markets support the consumption of these traditional foods?
Okay. So I'll start with the schools. Of course, the schools are at different levels. We have universities, we have primary schools. And so this promotion of these traditional seeds should start at primary level. And through schools, we can introduce the school feeding programs, or those schools that currently have school feeding programs, they should co-opt traditional dishes within that program. Aside from that, growing up at the school I went to, we used to have what we used to call fun cookery, where we would cook various dishes and would learn from that. So I think that would be very important for a child, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, to understand that importance of these traditional crops at that level and to start learning how to prepare these dishes. So as an extracurricular activity, school can introduce this, or as a program, just to ensure that the kids, even at university level, yes, these students are able to understand the importance and the value of these crops. Aside from that, also it's important to demonstrate their importance or to showcase their diversity in the field. So schools can introduce gardens, they can introduce some form of demos so that students or pupils can learn from that. Then moving to the community setup, the community can be engaged in seed-saving initiatives, like establishing the community seed bank. And as I indicated, the National Plant Genetic Resources Center supports the establishment of these community seed banks through our technical training in how to maintain, multiply, and to just have that quality control of these traditional crops. Okay. And also within these communities, as they are, hosting their, for example, their traditional ceremonies or any other celebration, weddings, church meetings, wow, they need to cook traditional meals so that people can appreciate these meals within the community. Then aside from that, these crops that we're talking about are part of our culture. And so we need to promote our culture as well as the indigenous knowledge attached to this. Nowadays, everything is being modernized. Even when you go to the village setup, you find that very few youth are engaged in conserving or farming these indigenous seeds. So if the older generation can be having like maybe some weekly kind of sit-down folklore, where they're telling stories, passing down this very important information to the youth, so that these youth can embrace the importance of these crops, that would also be ideal in their promotion within the community setup.
Okay, what about the local markets?
Okay, in local markets, the markets should ensure that these crops are readily available. So for example, legume, they need to ensure that they get in touch with the local farmers, so that these local farmers are motivated to some extent, and so they have these materials readily available when the demand is there for them. And also there should be some market promotions. So for example, if in that particular market there is traditional cowpea, there's traditional groundnuts, they should be at an affordable price for any normal person, or any, for lack of a better term, a smallholder farmer should be able to purchase without breaking the bank. Yeah, and also it should just be, the market should create an environment, which provides opportunities for processing these local or traditional crops. Like they should be selling maybe dried vegetables, they should be selling some milled millets, so that it's easier just for the farmer to just purchase that and utilize it.
Okay, like what happens at Soweto City
Market? Yes,
at
City
when
Market.
You're looking for dry traditional foods, you shall never find them in these nearby markets. You have to go to Soweto. That's where you find sorghum, millet, you find dried chihuahua, all the dried vegetables are there. So I think Soweto marketeers are really doing well in terms of selling of traditional
crops, which is a commendable job,
exactly,
because it's part of promoting our culture.
Exactly.
If we're able to see those crops on the market, meaning the availability shows to say, okay, Zambians are caring about their traditional foods, and that needs to continue.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So we should also have markets that are the proximity of the markets should be easily accessible. And we shouldn't have markets that are so far away for you to want to buy vegetables. First, you have to think like, oh my God, I have to walk some 10 kilometers, I have to walk some 20 kilometers. They should be close by, communities or easily accessible.
Okay, so Smin, how can farming communities collaborate with government in terms of promoting the cultivation of these traditional crops?
Okay. Currently, the government has been collaborating with these local communities through, of course, extension services, because extension services are key. They link actually research with the farmers. And so these extension services under the Department of Agriculture or under the Ministry of Agriculture have a form of exchange with the farmer. So the extension services offer training to the farmer, and also the farmer gives these extension services some indigenous knowledge which is well documented. So aside from that, the farmers should be actively engaged in any government programs like agriculture shows, district shows. These shows can be at camp level or any other level, but farmers should be co-opted, as well as in policy dialogue, conversations surrounding farmers' rights, surrounding anything to do with the farmer. I think the farmer should be co-opted. And then right now, as I indicated, government is already actively engaged within the farming communities through the National Plan Genetic Resources. As we conduct on-farm conservation strategies, we offer our technical know-how in any agricultural production of these plant genetic resources, or commonly known as traditional crops.
Okay, great.
Wonderful. Now, let's talk about the misconception actually concerning traditional crops. What misconceptions need to be addressed in order to promote the growing of crops among farmers?
The misconceptions are actually very interesting. We have quite a lot of misconceptions when it comes to traditional crops, so I'll just mention a few that are really common all around. The first one is that when you grow certain traditional crops, there is misfortune that is attached to them, or bad omen. I'll give a practical example of the Bambara groundnut. Most farmers across the country, especially in the eastern parts of the country, eastern province, they shy away from growing this particular crop because
either the red one or the white one,
any type, as long as it's Bambara nut into. They say it's associated with bad omen. They say when you plant this particular crop, there'll be a death in the family. Either a child or an adult will pass away. I don't know if it's over the years it's been a coincidence, but it has been a myth that has been attached to this. Starting from 2022 to 2023 season, we're conducting some on-farm conservation strategy in Eastern Province. And so part of the crops that we introduced in that particular part of the country was Bambara groundnuts. The farmers were a little bit skeptical, and that's how we got to hear a lot of stories about the myths attached to this. But over time, they were receptive of this because aside from the bad omen that is attached to this Bambara groundnut is highly nutritious. And aside from that, the farmers, based on indigenous knowledge that was collected, is that it is utilized to heal certain ailments associated with small boys.
Okay.
Yes, as they become of age.
Oh,
yes.
Wonderful.
And also it's underutilized, and also it's climate resilient crop.
Intoyo.
Yes, Intoyo.
Okay. That's the history of Intoyo.
Yes. Then aside from that, the fact that traditional crops are a poor man's crop, that's the misconception that's out there. But that is not true. Right now we see people in urban areas, people who are in different classes consuming these traditional crops because of their high nutritious value or content, because of most of them they are available all year round because of their different maturity periods. We also have the fact that most of these traditional crops are affordable. Yeah, and they are easy to to grow, and they provide food production diversification, meaning they ensure that at the end of the day, when you plant some of these crops, you'll be able to harvest something that is going to contribute to the household income security, food security, as well as nutrition security.
Great. Yeah. You know, Claribel, what got my attention is the myth behind the intoyo.
Yes.
So now I was questioning myself to say, since Zambia is a Christian nation, why should we have such beliefs? For me, I believe we just have to pray over these crops and then everything will be well.
No, it's a myth actually, whereby you just plant and then a calamity happens in your family, and then it happens, then you start associating
to
with
it.
that. It's a Christian nation. We should not focus about the negative. We should always be positive.
Yes,
because when you look at the nutritional aspect of it, healing properties that it has, can you not just plant it and get the
benefits
nutrients?
Of it, for sure.
Actually, the interesting thing is the smallholder farmer and this indigenous, that hub of knowledge that they have attached to this. So we need to also have an understanding as well as document.
What about Chihuahua? It has no misconceptions.
No, Chihuahua is widely accepted.
Widely accepted.
Yes.
But people say that certain people, when they plant Chihuahua, you cannot have pumpkins from it. Others, when they plant, you can have pumpkins. So people used to send a small child to go plant Chihuahua, not an elderly person, so that it can have pumpkins.
Maybe
how true is it?
That was because of the different variety, because there's different types of cucumber beets that are good for consuming the leaves and that are good for fruiting. So maybe the varieties of these pumpkins that were being planted were varieties that were just good for the leaf.
Consumption.
Yes, the leaf consumption, whilst there's another variety that is good for the fruit, and there are other varieties that are good for the leaf as well as the fruit.
So that misconception is wrong, whereby you, Sumin, when you plant, you have pumpkins. Me, when I plant, no pumpkins, just the leaves.
I can't say it's wrong. That's what the people who are planting believe. That's what the farmer believes. So these are some of the misconceptions that are attached to some of these traditional crops. And also the fact that most of these are very low yielding. And of course, compared to modern varieties, some of them might be low yielding, but at the end of it, because of the food production diversification that is there, and because of the adaptation to climate variability or climate shocks, the failure of these crops is very less. Like it's, you harvest something out of it despite experiencing a drought as a country, despite any calamity that might befall the nation. But at the end of the day, these are resilient, they'll still stand, and they'll still ensure that at household level there is that food security.
Right. Looking at these traditional foods, let's narrow it to urban areas actually. You'll find that a lot of people in urban areas, they don't take advantage of these crops because maybe they may be the misconception to say if you consume these traditional crops, maybe you'll be considered to be among the poor people. What could be your comment about that? You find that even the children who are maybe coming from urban areas, when they travel to rural areas, it becomes a challenge for them to consume these foods. You find that maybe your grandmother has prepared a traditional meal. They refuse to say, no, I can't eat this. My mother doesn't cook such kind of food. Bring this food for me. That's the one that I can eat.
Give me chicken. Give me meat. I don't eat vegetables.
I don't eat vegetables. Dry chihuahua. No, I can't eat that. Visage, I can't eat that. What could be your reaction?
I think this is just lack of information of the importance of these traditional crops. And that's where we come in as the National Plant Genetic Resources, as well as our key stakeholders who support the conservation of these materials, to indicate to the general public what our importance is, what our mandate is, and the value of this important genetic resource that we term as traditional crop. We need to understand that, of course, we have been talking about the fact that they're highly nutritious because they have various vitamins, they are nutritiously dense, but they also provide that dietary diversification. Imagine if you're consuming maize every single day. Imagine if you're consuming cowpea every single day. But with these traditional crops, you get to have diversity. You select from a wide gene pool of what exactly you want to consume. And then the fact that they are affordable. You can grow them on your land. The seed can be saved and utilized season after season. So we just need to create more awareness on the importance. Of course, this awareness is created through print media, through TV, where we're talking about this important discussion, and also through various shows like Seed Fair, Field Days, co-opting this information in school curriculum, as well as at community level, you know, different festivals, cultural shows. We talk about these. We have some poems, we have some write-ups that are generated so that people out there should understand their importance. And so at the end of the day, once each person understands the very important and the value of these resources, that misconception will slowly disappear.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Emmanuel,
yes,
very insightful. I was thinking about it. You know, when it comes to the same way we give food to the children in our homes,
yes.
I think also parents as mothers, we play a very good role when it comes to educating our children to say that these foods, traditional foods, are very good for you.
Yes.
And starting from childhood, the child will know that from Bondwe, I'm going to get nutritious, you know,
benefits.
Benefits from Bondwe. From Chihuahua, I'm going. If I don't eat vegetables, I'm going to have this. So even at school, the teachers teach them that you need to have a balanced diet. Where would you find proteins? Where would you find this? So as parents, we must emphasize on the traditional foods. We tell our children, you must eat. Today we are going to have vegetable day. And you know, at times when you tell children that we are going to have vegetable day with Nshima, they won't eat. Some of them will say, me, I'm going to have a cup of tea. Because they are avoiding the
traditional,
vegetables and the traditional aspect.
Which is not supposed to be like
that. Me, if I eat beans, I'll have gases. If I eat, but beans is very good when it comes to protein.
Proteins, yes.
So we need to educate our children as parents as well.
Very much. Parents
so
play
that
a critical
children are
role for
aware,
sure.
even if they visit the villages, they are going to find Chihuahua.
Yes.
Because you gave them when you are in the urban
you have already
area.
exposed them to traditional crops.
Exactly.
So even if they change their places,
when
they find those kind of traditional crops, it won't be a challenge for them.
No, because
they are used.
Exposed them.
Yes. So this is what we want to see. Ms. Sampa, even as we come to the end of this interview due to time, what could be your closing remarks?
Okay. So my closing remarks would be, let us safeguard these traditional crops. Traditional crops are a very valuable genetic resource. They have various benefits that we have discussed throughout this period, and we need to understand their importance. We need to internalize this and protect it at all costs. Because aside from conserving this cornerstone of resilience, this cornerstone of agricultural production, we also need to safeguard and preserve our cultural heritage that we continue to talk about. Because as a Zambian people, we need an identity. And having these traditional crops is part of that identity. And we should embrace it and be proud of it.
Great. Madam Sampa, thank you so much for making an appearance on Inside Agriculture.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. There you have it, dear viewers. This is where we've come to the end of Inside Agriculture. Today we are discussing promotion of traditional crops, our very own cultural heritage for households and food security, and also nutrition benefit. I have been your presenter, Emmanuel Mwemba, and my co-presenter has been Claribel Musonda. Until next time, it is goodbye and continue enjoying the rest of our programming.